Throughout time, people across the world told each other tales of how they came to be, of heroes and monsters, romance and tragedy, death and rebirth. Mythology helped shape the ancient world, explaining the unexplainable. This is Mythology Unleashed. Many cultures throughout history believed that there was the possibility of a better place one goes after they die. To the people of Scandinavia, that place was called Valhalla, a shining hall where the bravest warriors, heroes, and kings would be taken to upon their deaths. Once there, they would see a massive mead hall surrounded by forests and large enough to sustain thousands comfortably, with the golden tree glazier standing prominently in front. Its roof was thatched with Viking shields, its rafters and beams were that of warriors' spears. Beyond the doors lies the grandest of celebrations, with endless mead and food, games of strength and speed, jugglers and entertainers, and the air filled with songs and stories of battles past. To the Vikings, this was the epitome of paradise. As per the Ynglinga saga, Viking warriors who had died courageously on the battlefield were believed to be taken to Valhalla by the Valkyries, warrior women in service to Odin and Freya. The fallen were said to carry into Valhalla possessions that had been placed on their funeral pyres or buried with them. Once accepted with all their possessions, the fallen would take their place among the inhabitants as members of the Einarjar. Here, the Einarjar would spend the rest of days in merriment, being served endless helpings of mead and boar, while Odin himself would claim them as his children, drinking the mead while feeding the meat to his beloved wolves, Geri and Freke. Atop Valhalla reside the goat Hidrun and the deer Eikthenir, who subsist on the foliage of the tree Leror. These beasts are not just mere animals, but vital parts to Valhalla, as Hidrun produces the Asgardian mead served to the Einarjar, while Eikthenir's antlers drip liquid into the enchanted waters of Vergelmir. Valhalla's physical description is given in length in a number of Norse poems and sagas. The entrance to Valhalla is a great gate called Valgrind, while Valhalla itself is said to have 540 doors, from which hundreds of the Einarjar get to enter or exit at a time. Thor's personal abode, Bilskirnir, is also said to be a part of Valhalla, having 540 rooms of its own, and claiming envy from all the gods of Asgard. Valhalla is also the setting for a number of stories in Norse mythology. The Prose Edda tells the tale of a giant named Hrungnir, who is invited to Valhalla by the Aesir. Here, Hrungnir gets inebriated with mead, and belligerently claims that he will move Valhalla into Jotunheim. The Asgardians and the Einarjar became annoyed by Hrungnir's drunken ravings, and soon called in Thor to handle him. Hrungnir, however, claims that because he was an invited guest, he is under the protection of the Aesir gods, and therefore cannot be harmed while in Valhalla. After a heated exchange, Hrungnir foolishly challenges Thor to a duel outside, a duel which Thor invariably won. It is also believed that Valhalla is where Balder, the god of light, was killed by a mistletoe spear, a tragedy which would lead to the end of days, a time when the Einarjar were needed most. The Einarjar in Valhalla were there for that secondary purpose. While they were indeed rewarded for their courage on the battlefield, they were selected as the honorary soldiers of Odin in the coming battle of Ragnarok. When Ragnarok begins, Odin will rally the inhabitants of Valhalla and lead them into battle against Loki and Surt, and with their army of giants from Jotunheim on the field of Vigrior. The combatants on all sides would die in a whirl of swords and shields, fire and water, and the world as we know it would end. Though Ragnarok may be a dark and violent fate, To ancient Scandinavians, it was an honor to be chosen by Odin and the Valkyries to reside within the Golden Hall of Valhalla. For until the end of days, men and women who had struggled valiantly with sword in hand and courage in their heart would be given a chance of revelry that only the gods could provide.